Right. And we are back in the room with a very, very exciting member interview. I think a lot of people are going to gain a lot of value from this one. We've got Tom here. Tom's just had a pretty crazy month, to say the least. We'll get into it in a second. But as always, Tom, if you want to just give a bit of an introduction, who you are, when you came on board Capital Closer, what you were doing before, and more importantly, what you made last month in commissions.
Yeah, so obviously my name's Tom. I'm from Northwest in the UK. I joined at the end of February, so middle to end, around about the 18th of Feb.
Yeah.
Um, my joining story was quite funny, but I'm sure we'll get into that.
Yeah.
In terms of me, what I was doing beforehand, I was account manager for one of the biggest food and drink distributors in the UK. Long hours, pretty much just fly. I thought I was a big dog at that point. I was flying around, going to events,
Yeah.
meeting people up, just attending these just pointless meetings all the time. And eventually, it just got to a point where I was just absolutely sick of it. And I think like most lads, you get into sales and you think you're going to be absolutely flying, and then all
Yeah.
of a sudden you realize it's not like that. It takes about 5, 10, maybe even 15 years before you actually do what you envision doing in the first place, which is closing deals.
Spot on. And what did you make last month in commissions?
I made $12,800, give or take 10 or 15 on either side.
What were you roughly making in your sort of corporate sales role, shall we say?
Yeah, I was on around about £2,900.
What's that, 3.5k US?
Yeah, something like that. Yeah.
Almost a 10x in how long? How long was it as well? And obviously, just for reference for everyone, when we speak about time frames, okay, specifically a capital close and just the way that we do things, we talk about when people had their first call with me. They knew nothing about high ticket closing. They had never taken a sales call. We don't speak about, oh, when they landed a role, they then made it up, 2 weeks after. We talk about when they literally knew nothing. So, I mean, what was the time frame?
Yeah, so it took me, it was longer than I should have taken it me, but it did take me 150. Well, we did say this. It's 159 days on paper, but it should have been 157 because I hadn't done all my maths right. So
Oh, yeah, yeah.
159 days on paper, yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So yeah, 159 days on paper, 0 to 12,800 in a single month. But obviously we'll get into like how you were able to do that. And yeah, I think a lot of things contribute to that. But obviously going back to the corporate sales role that you're working, as you mentioned on paper, flying around, nice meetings in a corporate role, in your sort of early 20s. What was it about it that you were sort of looking to transition out? Because so many guys are working that, and it's like, you've probably got friends or people around you that are like, mate, you're doing really, really well, good salary and all these benefits and commission, like even parents and, family and all that, like just double down with what you're doing. You're in the corporate, like why were you so sort of wanting to get out of that, do you feel?
Just a pure waste of energy, waste of time. I think that's purely what it was. Even when I was going to these meetings, attending these places, going on these trips away with work, they paid for us sometimes to go fishing in Scotland. And I was like, yeah, it all looks amazing. But then yeah, you sat there on the side of a river thinking, what am I doing? Like,
Yeah,
what am I actually doing? This isn't the life that I want. I don't want to be here. I'm here because I have to be here. So yeah, even though it's a nice gesture, it's still just pure waste of my time. And the people as well, some of them were great, some of them you just couldn't stand.
can
Like
relate.
genuine, yeah, just especially the people that are just around you, because anyone that's your senior is all just someone that's been doing this for 20, 30 years. They're so set in the ways. And even the people that are around you, their mindset's just so broken. And you just in a cramped little office and you just have to hear all this just negative
So true.
energy all day. And
What was it?
yeah,
If you, I mean, I can relate in my corporate sales role, but what were some of the mindsets and things that they were saying in the office that you were just like, I can't be around this shit anymore.
yeah, it's just been people that have been there for around 15. 20 years, and they come in and moan every single day. And it's just like, well, if it's that bad, change it.
Yeah.
And then me saying this to myself, it made me realize that, hold on a minute,
Yeah.
I need to change it as well. So I
Yeah.
can't be the one sat there saying you need to change when I aren't doing anything about it. So that's when, but even like specific moments, I remember I got a big bonus, like literally just before I joined.
Yeah, I think you told
And
me that. Yeah, I remember that.
yeah, I got a big bonus and got a pay rise, got everything, which was really good for, I think I was 23 at the time. And even after that, it was still a case of, it doesn't make a difference because at the end of the day, it was only like 200, 300 quid more.
Yeah.
The bonus was quite a fair bit, but over the grand scheme of things, it was not a lot. And then you just sat there thinking, same thing every single day. You have about one day. I had one day of feeling, oh, this is pretty good.
Yeah, yeah,
And then it was reality hit me again. And it was like, no, I really need to make something happen here. So if there was one thing that solidified it for me,
yeah.
it was 100% getting the bonus, which seems backwards,
No,
but
no.
it was true.
It's funny that you mentioned. I think you mentioned it on our first call, but yeah, it was literally the same thing with me. I don't think I mentioned it in a while, but yeah, it was literally the same thing with me. When you get that bonus, and I remember like they'd call me into a meeting and they're like, oh, Connor, like they've been talking about it for months and months, and like, Connor, we're gonna get this bonus, and they were sort of talking about like 10,000, 15, 20,000 pay rise, and when you're a bit younger and you don't understand tax rate and stuff like that, you're like, oh, 20,000, and then you understand. Well, hang on a second, every 10,000 is only £400 per month take home after tax. Every 20 is just under a grand. So I'm
Mm.
like, wow. And they made such a big deal of it. And I think you have the realization in your head, like, if they're making a big deal of this, I'm probably not going to get my next one for another 2 years, maybe three. Like, and my life has literally stayed the exact same. Maybe even got worse because I've had this realization.
Yeah.
Um, how long were you in the sales role again?
Around about 3 years up to that point. So yeah.
Yeah. And what were you doing before? I know you said you played rugby. Um,
Yeah, so I played a lot of rugby when I was younger. The original plan was go off to Australia, play that. COVID came round, kind of put the stop to all of that because then I was like, well, I can't really do that anymore. Then I kind of just got sucked into the cycle because I was doing rugby. I was a manager just in a pub, just on the side of that to begin with. And then moved out of that through COVID. Obviously, furlough came around. I've always been one of them that can't sit still. So I went out, found another job halfway through COVID, um, started working that, which is where it was a warehouse job. And then I got put into the sales team afterwards. So I literally started from the ground up with that company, then went all the way through just to get through, and then realized the warehouse job was probably better than the sales job because
mm,
of the people that you were around and just the actual energy around the place. So yeah, it was that's what I was basically doing all the way up to it.
yeah, no, I completely agree. So you had the sort of thought process, all right, like, look, this sales role is not going to get me to where I want to be, nor give me this sort of life or whatever it may be that I want. So what was it that you were sort of looking at? I mean, did you find or did you see like remote high ticket sales before we spoke? Did you only come across it because of me? Were you looking at other things? Like, what was your process in terms of, right, I've had that bonus realization of like, this is not it, to like getting into something?
Yeah, I think it was another realization in the sense of I was 23 at the time, and then years had flown by, and then I realized very quickly that I've got no time. I
Mm.
don't know anyone that can sit there and say to them that they've got loads of time.
Yeah.
It just doesn't make sense. So in terms of that, it was a case of had that moment, got the bonus, realized that for me to get to where I want to be, I'm going to be 30, scared the shit out of me. Like, I'm not waiting for that. And then carried on moving forward with it. And then I literally, as soon, it was weird. It was like as soon as I came out the meeting, I pretty much just saw an ad, just saw an ad. And it was your ad. And it was saying high ticket closing, make money online, 10% commission. And it was just like, and then I was started seeing the numbers and I figuring them out in my head. I was like, 4K program. So you're telling me I can earn £400 an hour? And I was like, surely not. Because that's what everyone thinks.
Yeah.
Surely not. And then eventually I messaged you on Instagram and I messaged you on all three accounts I think that you had. I
Yeah, I
think I
remember
did it.
that.
Yeah. And I was like, right, I need to speak to this guy. Like, what is going on here? And then spoke to you obviously I would have been joining, but you had to shut it down for a couple months because you were building out
Yeah,
2.0.
I remember. I remember. I was
Yeah,
like,
the
oh, I want
whole
to take this call with this
new
guy.
process.
He was keen, but
Yeah, and then when I got on the call with you, I think you knew it was probably going to be one of the easiest piffs of your life because I was that far down a buyer's journey. I knew I was doing it. So, in terms of that, you probably could have DM closed me, to be honest with you. But moving forward with it, it was always a case of I just saw it, and the more I kept seeing it, the more I kept realizing I can make it happen. And then when we got on the call together, I think that's why I've been able to do so well in closing because that call that me and you had flipped everything around. So every time I go onto a call, I am literally thinking in my head, I've got to do what he did to me, to everyone else. And
Mhm.
I've just taken that through the whole time as well. So in terms of that, literally just a case of, oh wow, what is this? Let me
Yeah.
do it. Let me have a look. And then, yeah, just being an animal any
Yeah.
time after.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, literally, as you very much have been. We'll obviously get into that, but I think as well, like you were a little bit, you were skeptical. You know, like
100%.
as much as you say you could have been a DM close or it was the easiest piff. Like there was even when I look back at the call that we had, 3-4 months ago now, which I'll show a clip it in a few minutes. Back from that call that me and Tom had 4 months ago, when he was just getting into the space, and now obviously just clearing 12.8k in comms last month, just gone. But yeah, you were like, I'm not sure if this is real. Like, I'm not sure. You know, I need to understand that it is not this made up dream. You know, that's exactly what you said in our call and all this stuff. So yeah, how did you feel about like getting over it? Because I'm sure a lot of people can relate. And look, I mean, as much as maybe it's hard for me to see that side of things, I think you've got to be fair and say I can somewhat understand it, but I don't. But I mean, share your thoughts in terms of like your process of getting over. Oh, it is real, or isn't, and whatnot. What
Yeah.
made you realize? Yeah, this is bloody real, and I'm losing money now, not getting into this.
Yeah, I think it was literally that. And it was, I use this on my calls as well, because I always ask myself the same question. Like the fear of staying the same and never finding out is a lot more fearful than that what if. What if it is real? What if it's not real? And if you never know, you never know. But you're always going to stay the same unless you try and find out.
Yeah,
So at the same time, everyone can, and I was just listening to like everyone does, parents, friends, oh yeah, all this online stuff, it's a scam, it's all this, it's not real. And but that's why so many people stay the same, because they just don't allow themselves to see it in a different light. And for me, the light that I was in was awful. So I was just trying to chase any other light that I could find. And it's just comes back to that question of why if. Like, what if it doesn't work? Well, at least you tried.
mm,
What's the worst that's going to happen at the end of the day? I'm not going to be homeless. I'm still probably going to have a decent job, still probably have a decent car, still be able to afford a house, but at least I've tried. At least I've known that I can do it. So,
yeah.
in that sense, that was the biggest thing that shifted because it's like a counterbalance. And one of them was just heavily outweighing the other. Like the whole skepticism was just slowly getting diminished and more diminished and more diminished until it was a case of, well, if I don't know, I'll never know.
Yeah. So true. Yeah, I think it gets to a certain point, and that's why, like, obviously, proof over promises is obviously a massive thing for us. But it's like the reason why we do that is because I want it to never be a discussion of is this real or not. More of a
Yeah.
discussion of are you going to bet on yourself or not, and just
Mhm.
remove the is it real. It's like I'll show receipts, I'll show Tom's bank statements, I'll show Cavan's bank statements, I'll show Lewis, Jerry, Finn, Jack, whoever's bank statements you want to see. I'll show you their bank statements. I'll show you mine when I was closing, so you have no is it real. It's like that can be put to one side. You just need
Mhm.
to decide now: are you going to bet on yourself? Are you going to be the comfortable guy, or are you going to be the uncomfortable guy? We know which one gets to where they want to be and which stays in the same place. And I think that's a good frame to have. And I think that's the best thing about like remote closing. It's like when you have these sort of calls, it's like you were once in that prospect's position, and you can just understand. Well, I'm just trying to help you here. Because if you don't move, then you know you're just going to stay in the exact same place. So, if we now, you know, you did commit. I remember you committed at the end of February 2025. I remember you went to Dubai for like a week, literally after you joined, and you went on that work trip. What was your process for the first, let's say, 2 months? So, March and April, if you sort of remember, what was your process in terms of the training, the coaching, an offer, commissions, that sort of stuff?
Yeah. So, like you said, we went to Dubai. kind of threw a spanner in the works, but it was work related again, so didn't have too much choice. But then that just solidified it. I remember texting you actually and saying, "I'm not sitting in economy anymore. Like
Yeah, I literally
yeah,
remember.
I'm going to get business class next time. There's no way I'm doing this again." And then, but the process was, I got back from there. I did a bit of work there, but nowhere near enough. And I just went through the whole sort of recordings in the sense of all the training, constantly doing training. I'd get in from work at 5:30. I'd get into my room, literally from, I used to get in about 6:15, and I'd just sit there all night doing work, taking notes. I went through the whole course twice, did that in around about 2 weeks,
Mm.
and just had notes on everything. Then started doing mock calls, and that was really just in all throughout April, really just trying to do as many mock calls as I can. I think I passed the mock call assessment around the 20th, I think it was, around that time, the 20th to the 25th.
Of
And
March.
then, no, it was April. It
Was
was
it?
April.
Oh,
I
was
think
April.
it was oh no, it was 10th of April, I think it was. Yeah, it was
Okay.
beginning of April.
It's about
Um,
5 weeks. Okay.
Yeah, so it took me a lot longer, which is again when we have this conversation, it's all I always say it annoys me because I wish I would have put even more into it and done even more, but I was so focused on the detail. It's helped me in the long run. However, I would have been making a lot more money a lot quicker if I just threw myself into it. So in
What
terms
do
of
you
the
mean
mock
by that?
calls,
What do you mean by that? Because I just think a lot of people will think you saying that means, you're probably referring us quit your job,
no,
don't
no,
follow
no.
me with
I
me.
meant
What do you mean by that?
Yeah, I meant that I was so obsessed with every single word into a process. How
Okay.
do I say things? Why do I say this thing? And I used to just literally dissect every single area of a call and understand it. And then when I was doing the mock calls, I needed to make them absolutely perfect, or else I
Mhm.
wasn't happy with them.
Yeah.
And but that just comes back to just trying to be that ultimate perfectionist that you need to be to get anywhere within this game. Like, so in terms of that, it's like I wish I would have just done more mock calls and just fired more in, even
Mhm.
more volume.
Yeah.
So I would have done it a lot quicker. But again, helped me in the long run because now when I'm on a call, I can just do that process like it's the back of my hand because I know
Yeah.
absolutely everything that goes into it. So yeah, and then finished that around middle of April, started outreaching for offers. And this is where I think my story differs from some other people as well, is because I got stuck in the trap of not paying attention to an offer.
Yeah. Big lesson.
So
Big lesson.
yeah, big lesson, big lesson. And this is where again, so many people would fall down, but it all comes back down to the why you're doing it,
Yeah.
why you strapping your boots back up, why you're getting back out there. And yeah, so I had two offers. They were both terrible. I had to leave them all. Then found another one, terrible. And at this point, you do start, the self-doubt starts creeping in. And then I realized I found one good one. And I did, the 5K last month. And then this month, I've done the 12 and a half, well, nearly 13. So in terms of that, it's just a case of constantly rinse, repeat, back on the horse. Don't let anything stop you. And eventually you get to where you want to be.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, you make it sound effortless, which of course is very much doable, but at the same time, it takes a certain type of person to get those results. I always say, look, we've got the blueprint in place, we've got the recipe. If you follow it, you're going to
Hmm.
get results. If you don't, you won't. It's simple. It's like baking a cake. If you follow a recipe to a cake, guess what? You open the oven, congratulations, you got the perfect cake. If you don't follow it and it's a burnt cake, well, whose fault is that? Is that the recipe creator or is that the baker? It is the baker.
Yeah.
But at the same time, that because look, I wish inside Capital Closer I could be inside fucking everyone's room and fucking on them and manage them and whatnot, but I can't. So there are times where you can drop because no one's on you or whatever. You haven't spoken to someone in a day or two or whatever it may be. So throughout that period when you had those two offers and they weren't quite working out and you were putting the hours on the 95 of your sales role and this would have been March, this would have been sort of around April time now, and you
Yeah.
hadn't made sort of commission. What was your thought process? Because there's two different types of people. One that buckles and go, oh, poor me. And the guy that goes, there is literally people out there making 10, 20, 30,000 a month younger than me who are less experienced in sales than me making this type of money. I'm going to get after it and I'm not stopping until it happens. What did you do to become sort of that person or have that way of thinking?
I quit my job.
Yeah, fucking hell, yeah.
So I literally thought to myself, well, I'm obviously 1 foot in the door, 1 foot out the door here. You want 50-50 results, you have a 50-50 attitude to it. So in the end, what I did was I just handed in my notice and said, right, well, I'm going to make it work. I'm going to find a way to make it work. And I've made it work. So it goes to show like big decisions, big results, little decisions, little results. So in that sense, I just went all in on it. And that really solidified the changing of the whole mindset to everything. And
I
nowadays,
mean,
it's like just
yeah.
business, business, business.
As a disclaimer, as much as I would love to sit here and I've got the exact same way of thinking as Tom, I'd love to sit here and say everyone should do that. But in reality, I
Yeah.
think like 1% of people should do that. 99% of people do it alongside your 9 to 5 sales role. Make 2, 3, 4, 5, 6,000 a month, then transition out. And that is the plan for anyone really inside a capital closer. If we got you a sort of few more months in, it probably would have got to that stage. But at the same time, you the self belief and the confidence, and some people just do that. It's like, no, I like actually see a path there. The biggest barrier is just time. So you, how much did you make when you left your 9 to 5 sales role? I know it wasn't a lot, but
Well, I only made like $300.
you made $300 and then you left.
I made $300. I left. And then,
It's
yeah,
more
I
than
just
me.
went all in on it. I just literally just thought, well, when I looked at it and I looked at the numbers, I was like, I just need one. And if I get a 4K one and I sell five of them in a month, I've made my salary. And I was like, if I can't sell five of them, what am I doing? So in my head, it was like a no-brainer. It was just like, well, that's all I need to do. All I need to do is find one, sell five, and I've done it anyway. So who really cares?
Yeah,
And I just thought as well, it's like, so people have this big skepticism about leaving a job. A job does not care about you,
so true.
and you
So
can
true.
always go find another one.
So
So
true.
at the same time, it's just like make your mind up, either do everything you can or stay the same.
So true.
Make your
And
choice.
also as well, like the advice that we're giving isn't saying like quit your job to do
No,
this.
no.
Again, I want to repeat: do it on the side of your 9 to 5 sales role, make 3, 4, 5, 6,000 a month, do it back to back, and then transition out. Most guys
Yeah.
do that. But when it does get to the point of leaving your job, I think this will help a lot of people because I remember watching in my 9 to 5 sales role a podcast from Julian Hearn, who's the founder of Huel. Do you know the drinks brand Huel? Yeah.
Yeah.
The founder, and he said he was making like 300,000 a year. He was a marketing director for a huge company, and he said the frame that I had, because he was trying to start an affiliate marketing side business on the side. He had a family, he had kids, and all that stuff. And he was like, the frame I had was like, I've been a marketing director for 10, 15 years for 3 different companies. My LinkedIn resume is on point. I've got the credentials, I've got the connections, I've got the network. It's always going to be there. Like,
Yeah.
it's just a job doing a set of tasks. There's hundreds, there's thousands of marketing directors they'll have in tomorrow. And guess what? If it fails, I'll get another marketing director job. And that's the thing with jobs, like, respectfully, unless you're a CEO, like, of a proper company as well, you're just doing a set of tasks. There's no,
Hmm.
yes, there's skill involved, of course, but like anyone can do it. But when
Hmm.
you're in a performance-based thing or when you're starting an online business, not a lot of people can replicate it because you're paid for performance. It's a bit like football. It's like, yeah, you can have another football player, but Premier League and League Two, big difference. And it really made me realize it's like, yeah, like I think when you're in that world, it's like, oh my god, like it's my everything. It's a job, and and then you're like, wait, what even was that? Do you even look back now and think, what the fuck was that? You know?
Yeah, yeah. It said to you, I punched my old self in the face, 100%,
Yeah.
100%. And the only regret I have is I should have done it sooner. And that is the only thing that annoys me, is the fact that I never did. But I guess we can all say everything does happen for a reason. But it's the most strange feeling ever because there's no industry that, and I've seen a lot, I've been around a lot, like within that space, there's nothing that will genuinely, if you are this good, this is how much you get paid.
Yeah.
And you get exactly what you put into it, you get back out. The more you put in, the more you get back out. And it's the only sort of vehicle that will allow you to do that. There's nothing, there is nothing else. Even when we look at all the other schemes online, yes, could you work like an animal? Yes, but is it solely related to your performance and how you present yourself and how you move
Yeah.
yourself? Now, there's so many more extenuating factors. But if you truly believe in yourself and back yourself that you want better life, you want to have more time, you want to earn more money, then there's nothing else that will give out exactly what you put in, like closing.
Yeah, 100%. And also as well, like with you coming from a rugby background and obviously me football and other guys inside Capital Closer, it's like I think when you come from a sporting background, like you're so focused on no, like the better I am, I go into the first team or I move to a better team or I get scouted. It's like it's very like that's how sport works. But in the
Yeah,
corporate sales world, it isn't like that. And that used to piss me off. It was like, I'm better than all of you and I have the results to prove it. Like I'm not just saying that I was better than the 25, 30, 35 year olds, but they were like, no, 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 you haven't been there long enough. Or, you've got to get grey hair before we can give you 300 grand a year. It's like, well, but I'm better than them. I don't really, which is, it's weird, and that's why obviously remote closing makes sense. But look, I'm cautious of time. One thing I want to just get into is you left your 9 to 5 sales role when?
middle of May.
Middle of May. Okay, we've
Yeah,
just
so the
finished July.
16th, I think.
16th of May. So what
Yeah,
happened when you left that role? If you just walk through the sort of
spent 2 weeks finding an offer. Found a really good one, beginning of June, literally
when
on
was
like the pardon.
when was it in June?
Literally, I think on the second, so the day before my birthday, I found one. So
Yeah,
2nd of
second of June.
June, the first full month in that offer. Um, I think I did just $5,930. I think.
You
Yeah.
did 5,900 the first 4 month closing after leaving your 9 to 5.
Yes. Yeah.
Wow.
So, or and then at that point, I
Doubled your
knew it
salary.
was pardon doubled.
You
Yeah.
doubled your salary.
Yeah. In that first month, and then
Decision,
in
yeah.
yeah, exactly. It was like, well, I'm just going to make it happen. So I say that like just the whole mindset just shifted. It was like, no, every single time it's going to be made happen. Like there's no two ways around it. And then this month, obviously moving forward post that, leveled up again, finished up on the 12,800 mark. So it was just constantly about leveling up, leveling up, leveling up.
So you left that 9 to 5 sales role, and there's almost like two different paths you go down. You either carry on down your 9 to 5 sales role and keep plotting away. You made the decision to leave it, and then you fast forward to 2 months down the line. Your first full month, 5,900. Your second month, 12,800 made in commissions.
Yeah.
100% online. Go to the gym when you want, get your haircut when you want, see your girlfriend when you want. How does it genuinely feel?
Yeah, it's amazing. It's amazing. I think I sent you a text message and said it's just changed your whole outlook on life. Like everything that I genuinely will do from now on will be totally different to everyone else because I know now that you do the same thing as everyone else, you get the same results. If you want to be the one person that's doing something different, you've got to act different, you've got to be different. And this has just changed everything. Literally, when I look back at it, it's hard to even describe, but you genuinely sit there and you think to yourself sometimes like, I can't quite believe it. Like you've got to pinch yourself. And then you think back to how you even acted in a job, how you act now. You're two totally different people. Everything's different. My mindset's changed. I make decisions quickly. You don't. I used to procrastinate. Everything is just flipped.
It's a personal development thing, which is why I
Yeah,
think if you come from a sport background or you've got that competitive drive, it's like it is a personal development journey of you becoming better and becoming the person that you say you are going to become. If you say you're going to do
yeah,
something, you do it, and you just sort of lead from that sort of things. But crazy, and again, the offer that you're on, obviously we won't get into specifics, but it's a juicy property offer, which is really really nice, and I think the sort of I suppose full circle moment, which makes me really really happy is you're obviously working with we'll just say an old sales manager of mine who I'm extremely close with, and it's one of the sort of best property offers in the space by a while. And the fact that in your second month you've made 12,800 from it and still somewhat getting to grips with the product and understanding everything is crazy. So how are you finding sort of selling that product? And it's a great offer, but equally your skill set. And before you answer that, I just want to make everyone really clear that there is no one else inside Capital Closer, and I say this to Tom, I say this to everyone else, that has probably mastered our specific process, the 150,000 per month sales process that we have inside Capital Closer, more than Tom. All right, and I do want to say there's probably no one that's worked harder. Lewis Miller, of course, is up there. And then a few other guys. I don't want to discredit everyone else. We've got a lot of hard workers in there, but if I can say, a handful of guys on across my hand that have been to every coaching call, has texted me every single day, has asked me for feedback, has just been a dog, has just been relentless, has just been getting after it and saying, I am not giving up until I make my 10, 15, 20,000 a month with this. And when I make that level of income, I'm going to keep it there. And I'm not only going to keep it there, it's going to keep increasing. As I say to everyone that comes on board, a clear example of how you do it, you know? So massive props to you, but getting back to more the question, how are you finding selling the property offer? How are you sort of feeling about it as a whole? And how are you projecting August and September being on the roll and getting to grips with it more now?
Yeah, I mean, it's good. It is just it's quality. Everything inside of it is just taken care of. Like my sole job is take calls, close deals, and that is it. Collect
Yeah.
commission.
Take
So
calls,
in
close deals.
yeah, and that is the absolute dream. So in terms of it, it's a property offer. People like to invest in themselves with property. They believe in themselves. So again, not an easy sell at all. It's not easy. However, there's very specific emotions that you can play on to get someone across and over the line. So in terms of that, in terms of selling it, I mean, we all know how much I make off one piff. Like I just know in the back of my head that nowadays all I need is 10 of them. It's 10K. All I need is 20 of them. It's 20K. All I need is 30 of them. It's 30K.
And if you're
So it's like,
taking 60, 80, well, you're taking what, 100 calls, close
yeah,
10?
I'll be taking a lot of calls. Yeah.
100 calls, close 10, 10 grand. Close 20 at 20%, 20 grand. Close at
Mhm.
30%, which is still not really the standard we should be at, but it's 30 grand. Like, genuinely, and look, we'll see over the next August, September, and throughout, because we're big on proof over promises. We won't just talk about it specifically, but how are you now projecting August, September, not only in terms of your income, and in terms of what you're projecting and what you're sort of looking to make over the next sort of 2, 3, 4 months, if you want to run through that, but also lifestyle. I mean, you sort of going away, you saving up as much as possible. Like, what's the plan now that you're like, I'm now someone who's making above 10,000 a month?
Mhm.
What's the plan?
Yeah. So August, conservatively, I'm definitely going for 15. In September, I should be hitting 25. Should be hitting in 25 because the one, the property one, they have their boot camps. So they just a week of warming up leads and I just hop on a call and I can just close them. Easy as that. So in terms of they're the easiest sales in the world because everyone's already down a buyer's journey and I just have to give them the green light. So in terms of September, I'm looking at 25. I should realistically be hitting. Outside of all of that, by the end of the year, when I look where I want to be, it's not just a case of giving myself, I want to continue mastering clothing, obviously, but then also think about the bigger picture here in terms of I've got more capital than I ever would have had. How can I use it most effectively? Where can I put it into? Who can I put it into? All these different options that I would have never have had before. Now I have. So I can sort of pick and choose. For example, I'm even thinking of, I've seen some of the courses now and what people can do for people. And it's like, well, how do I set my little brother up? Which one do I want him to go into? How do I set my girlfriend up? Which one do I want her to go into? All these different types of things
So
to create the business, create the life, and benefit everyone around your family. And now I'm in a position where I can invest into them as people, whereas I would have never been able to do that before.
So true. So true. It's almost like a hack. The fact that not only in remote closing are you able to get to the 10, 20, 30,000 a month in commissions, be selling 100% online, so these warm inbound video sales calls, but the product you're selling are these things that are so valuable that if you're selling an e-commerce coaching program, or to be honest with you, I think a little bit of the hack between me and you, well, it's not between me and you, but the property side of things is such a good thing to sell because as a closer, you're gonna, if you get really, really good and you're on a good offer, you're gonna make the 10, 15, 20, 25, 30,000 a month. Now, that's an obscene amount of money to be making in your any age, to be totally honest with you, it's an obscene amount of money. So when you're saving that level of income, it's like, okay, well, the smart thing to do is I'll make a lot of money, but where do I put my money? And there's two different sides of it. It's either you go to a low tax haven and you keep a lot of it from that sort of things, but then the other flip side of it is the investment side of things. If you're selling a property offer, you'll get into how to flip, how to do Airbnb, how to do land sourcing, how to do planning uplifting, how to do development, how to do HMOs, buy to let. Well, that's where you park your money. And you're working with
Mm.
specialists you know, who are, you know, they're not going to maybe charge you. You know, you're a closer for them, making them hundreds of thousands a month. They're going to say, look, go through the mentorship. I'll give you a free one-on-one coaching call of where I think you should put your money because you're making so much money from me. So it's a fantastic industry to be in. And one thing I want to do just before we hop off here, I think I'm able to share my screen on this. Yeah, I very much am. I think you know what I'm probably going to share. Can you see this, Tom?
Yeah.
Yeah. So this is from our coaching call the other day, our end of month meeting. And this is just a clip here of basically mine and Tom's call at the end of February, which is just absolutely crazy to think back to. So we're just going to show a little snippet of mine and Tom's call, and then we'll pretty much wrap up there. So 3, 2, 1. This is mine and Tom's call back in the end of February. Let's have a look.
Some of this stuff sooner rather than later. Usually, the between March to July is usually busy but quiet in the sense that you don't do a lot of traveling.
Okay, good. Okay, cool. So what do we, I always, you know, there's two targets for me whenever working with people. First, always, what do we need to do to get you out of your 9-to-5 role to begin with? Because that's what everyone wants first. Obviously, 10, 12, 15, 20 grand a month, like, yeah, of course. But on the side, we need to understand, like, what do we need to do monthly in terms of working 7 till 10, 7 till 11, whatever it may be for the first 1, 2, 3 months. So we're able to transition out. And then, of course, then we discuss what it looks like more full time. So for you, like, what do we need to begin with first, Tom, to allow that transition out to happen? Just to give me an understanding of what needs to be done.
For me, I definitely say a little bit of consistency, but I know that comes down to myself as well. Like you say, it would be great, you know, 1 month earning 10 grand. But I'd like to see like some repetitive nature. Obviously, I know a lot of it would be down to myself. But I'm just talking from a personal level here, because obviously it'd be great, you know, if you did amazing for 1 month and then you quit, and then all of a sudden you do awful for the next one. And as well, for me, I do need some sort of what's the word I'm trying to look for? Like, it's not just like some big made up dream. Like, this could be a reality. Like, people, you can actually make a really good living.
And just as well, before I ask you a question there, Tom, I just want to show people that, you know, you've hit the target, just so people can see there. So people can see proof of a promise. As you can see there, there's the proof of Tom literally clearing the 10,000, well, 12,800, but we have like 5, 10, 15, 20, 25 and 30k targets inside Capital Closer, and it's a milestone. You basically send it in with proof once you've hit it. Tom cleared the 10k, obviously finished on 12.8. But the question I have for you is, do you believe it's real now?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. I need some, and it makes me laugh again because that just goes to show the personality change, the persona change. You're just a different man. So, like, I need some consistency. No, I didn't. I just needed to get out of my own way. And that's what you helped me realize on the call. And I got out my own way, quit my job, went all in, and made it happen. So,
Yeah.
in terms of that, you give yourself no choice to fail. You don't fail. You just succeed.
Big question as well before we wrap up here. The Marba September trip is obviously next month. You so far you're almost in the running. I think it's Lewis Miller, it's Ian Edwards, it's Jerry Curling, it's Jack Scott, and it's Kevin Wild so far. And again, the people that are coming to Marbella, for people that don't know, it's our top earner in a single month. It's our most averaged earner, so their month's average closing divided by the time their commissions. Most average earner is Jack Scott so far. Quickest to 10k, Kevin Wild, who's just done it in 129 days since our first call. Second top earner in the group, Jerry Curling, 17.3k. And then our third top earner would be Jack Scott, but he's already got one. You can't win it twice, so it's Ian after him at 13k. So, do you see yourself nicking any of those? If so, which one?
Yeah, definitely. I'm definitely coming for Yang.
You calling that Ian?
Yeah, mate, I finished on 12.8 and I should have, if it would have had a bit more time, I would have definitely hit the 15. So I want to beat Jerry in terms of this month. So in terms of that 17k, that's where I want to be up to. So
I'll be winding him up all month now. I'm going to the gym with him later on. I'll be winding him up all month. Yeah, I think you're going to smash him. Like, I tell you what, if I was a betting man, as they say, for someone to make 25,000 a month in the next couple of months, it's you. And I think for you, like, especially with the offer that you're on and the skill sets that you've acquired, and you know you have taken your time, like you said. I think it's going to pay dividends. I think for you, you've really sort of cemented yourself as a fucking great closer in the industry, and someone who's going to be on the top offers, and also the top sales rep, making the 20,000, 25, 30,000. And I genuinely mean that. So, mate, you're an absolute animal. Pleasure working with you as always. And yeah, we'll speak soon.
Awesome. Cheers,
Top
mate.
man. Awesome, bro. All the best. Take care.